I spent hours researching the top 10 waiver wire targets for week 4. Add these players now before your league mates even know their name. We believe every NBA fan should play fantasy basketball. So the first player you want to consider adding for week 4 is Noah Clowney. This is a player that we've talked about, never really hit his stride, but we're seeing little signs that he might be productive. And one thing about me, I like to add a player before everyone is running to the waiver wire for him. So this might be the time to snatch up Noah Clowney. He's only rostered in 1.7% of ESPN leagues. Let that sink in. But he's averaged 18 points, 8.7 rebounds, and 5 assists over the last few games. Also, he's had a 21.1% usage rate, and you can expect that he'll continue to log heavy minutes, especially because Brooklyn is riddled with injuries right now. So this is an opportunity, probably a short-term opportunity when Cam Thomas is healthy. I don't know if this will continue, but for right now, this is a player that we want to keep an eye on. The next player we want to keep an eye on is Jaime Jaquez Jr. When I tell you, I saw your man do a crossover the other night and he launched, somebody like hit the ground and then he went for the dunk. Yo, he looks so good right now. Jaime Jaquez Jr. is a player that we were talking about in the offseason, but also early on for a waiver wire target. He might still be available on your waiver wire. If he's not, you're probably in a 12-team competitive league, but if you're in an 8-team league or a 10-team league, he might be out there hanging out. So he's definitely a player that we're looking to grab. And one thing that's worth noting about Jaime Jaquez Jr. is that he scored 20 points in 3 of his last 5 games, and that's coming off the bench. Also, he's playing starter level minutes due to the current injury situation that they have in Miami. And last but not least, while Tyler Hero is out, this is a player that should be on someone's roster. So if for some reason he's like hanging out on the waiver wire, you want to make sure that you snatch up Jaime Jaquez Jr. Before we jump back into the show, I want to give a big shout out to Fantasy Roundup. It's one of the illest resources and tools on the internet for fantasy basketball managers. If you're like me, you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning so you could reserve your waiver priority on players that you want to add. You got like second or third priority, and there's a player that you think might hit, but he might also miss. So you don't want to burn waiver priority. So what do? You set an alarm, you wake up in the middle of the night, you try to be the early bird getting the worm. What if I told you there was a way for you to do it with automation using Fantasy Roundup? Let's go check it out. So here we are on Fantasy Roundup. I have my team loaded in from ESPN, but you could also load your team up from Yahoo. What you want to do is you want to click the auto waiver button, and from there you select the players that you're interested in dropping. For me, I have a couple of players here that I'm okay with moving on from. Both of them are done, literally, Ryan Dunn as well as Chris Dunn. Let's just pass on Chris Dunn for this exercise. The next page shows you the waiver wire free agent pool. I'm interested in Naz Reid, so I'm going to go ahead and queue him up and schedule my swap. Again, I don't want to burn my waiver priority, so I'm going to go ahead and schedule this for the 9th of November at 3 a.m. Review and confirm, and from there, I just confirm the swap. That's right. No more waking up at 3 a.m. to claim that breakout player before anyone else. Just schedule your moves. Sit back and let the system do the work. They're offering a 7-day trial, and after that, it's only $6 a month. So if you're serious about winning your league this season, give yourself the edge with Fantasy Roundup. Find more info and the sign-up link in the pinned comments and description below, or just visit fsroundup.com. Check it out and start your free trial today. The next player we want to talk about is Jarace Walker. He's just rostered in 9.5% of ESPN leagues. He's averaging 29.2 minutes per game, 10.7 points, 5.7 rebounds. This is a player that can contribute on a streaming level. I don't know if he's going to be like a long-term hold type player, but definitely someone you want to keep an eye on during the fantasy basketball season. Next up from the New Orleans Pelicans, Derek Queen. I had the opportunity to watch this young man the other night, and when I tell you, he's a problem. Like, he really is. To be so young, he seems like he has a good bit of ball control, some good basketball IQ, and he passes the eye test. So I think long term, especially in a dynasty format, he's someone you want to keep an eye on. For redraft leagues, he's only rostered in 6.2% of ESPN leagues right now. So he's widely available. On the season, he's averaging 19.4 minutes per game. And in the last 7 days, he's also averaging about 19 minutes a game, averaging 10 points per game in the last 7 and 5.5 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and 1.8 steals. Let that sink in. Those defensive stats you cannot find everywhere. So for me, Derek Queen is definitely a player I'm paying attention to for week 4. From the Brooklyn Nets, Terance Mann. Terance Mann is an oldie but goodie. I remember the days when he played for the Clippers. He was providing some value. I think even in his years with the Hawks, he would cook up a little streaming value, and he's doing it again, but now he's in Brooklyn. Only rostered in 8.5% of ESPN leagues. On the season, he's averaging 26.4 minutes per game, and in the last 7, there's a slight uptick at 27.4. He's also averaging 8.4 rebound. 8.4 points per game in the last 7, 1.2 steals. Definitely a player that can provide some value in a bunch of different categories. But for me, I'm just keeping an eye on him as a potential streamer this week. This is a player that I've been wanting to talk about on this show, but I just haven't pulled the trigger. I said, you know what? In week 4, let's let it rip. From the Milwaukee Bucks, AJ Green. AJ Green is only rostered in 2.8% of ESPN leagues, but he hits a load of three-pointers. He's hit at least 3 three-pointers in all 8 games this season, and he offers a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's almost like he contributes just enough to provide some streaming value. So if you need to fill some gaps this season on your roster, or this week on your roster, I would strongly consider AJ Green. Now, this dude might be one of my favorites. From the Memphis Grizzlies, Cedric Coward. Your man is the real thing, and he's young. He has a lot of upside. I think this player, if you pay attention, he might be somebody you want to hold on to long term, especially if you're in a 12-team league or something like that, if he's available, right? So he scored at least 12 points in 8 of his first 10 games. Let that sink in. And he's thriving as a 6-man, and his playing time just continues to go higher and trend in the right direction. So you know what I like to say? Top is off, boobies is out, hair blowing in the freaking wind. Get yourself some Cedric Coward. This is not like a I told you so, or y'all must have forgot, like Roy Jones Jr. This is like, listen, pay attention, right? One thing about rookie big men, they can find ways to produce if they get the minutes. And Ryan Kalkbrenner from the Charlotte Hornets is cooking. We've been talking about him since July, right? And your man just continues to put on for the city. I mean, he's providing block stats. He's getting rebounds. He's scoring some points as well. And most importantly, he's getting the minutes. So if he's available on your waiver wire, I would consider him a long-term hold, especially in a dynasty format. But if you need to use him as a streamer, that's okay too. But definitely someone we want to pay attention to in week 4. The next player from the Miami Heat, Davion Mitchell. This is another player we've talked about before, but I had to run this play back because your man continues to produce, averaging 9.2 points, 3 rebounds, and 7.6 assists, and 2.4 steals in 31 minutes over the 5 November games. Let that sink in. Your man is doing his numbers. He has a high steal rate, and also he's getting the playmaking stats with Tyler Hero out. Listen, I know it's a short-term play because there are some injuries in Miami, but while Tyler Hero is out, and I know Bam Adebayo is even banged up, there's just going to be lots of opportunities for the guys who are left over. So for that reason, I'm keeping an eye on Davion Mitchell. Before the next player, I want to quickly give you some reminders on some players that we've been speaking about, whether it's on our social media or if we did it in our episodes. Russell Westbrook, get him on your freaking roster. Do not play around. Yusuf Nurkic, if he's lingering around, if you're in an 8-team league or a 10-team league, I would try to get him on your roster. Nickeil Alexander-Walker will continue to have value while Trae Young is out. Isaiah Jackson, I know he's been a little bit up and down, but definitely worth some consideration. Trey Jones, get him on your roster. While Kobe White is out, he will continue to produce. And last but not least, Andrew Nembhard is back. And some people, like, he's still lingering around. I think he's only rostered in about 56% of ESPN leagues. So if Andrew Nembhard is on your waiver wire, he is a priority add. Next up from the Atlanta Hawks, Zachary Risacher. I love this young man, but he's had tons of inconsistency. If you know about this show, we are here in the Atlanta area. We are not Hawks fans, but we support all Atlanta basketball. And your man has just been a little inconsistent. But we've seen some signs of life with the Trae Young injury. Now, one thing that's worth noting is that watching them against the Lakers the other night, the Hawks look good, They blew the Lakers out. And honestly, without Trae on the floor, something is happening. There's some positive chemistry kind of building there. And I think Zach Risacher is taking advantage of that. He's averaged 15.4 points and 2 3-pointers per game with 22.3% usage over the last 5 games. He's a pretty good scorer, so if you're in a deeper league format, he might work well for you. Now that you know who to target for week 4 in the waiver wire, check out this playlist with all of our sleepers.